Hello everybody, and today, with my fancy dancy setup that looks like atrocious shenanigans, I'm still learning the whole Steam Lab setup, but the one thing I have been using, as you can see, is a VPN, and this is done by Nord VPN. It is a VPN that I do use religiously, and it's one of the easiest ones I've used, and one of the better ones that I have used for quite some time. And part of the reason why I use a VPN is to protect yourself, basically. And from what happens is people can get your IP address very easily. Those who want to can. Don't be alarmed. There are a lot of people out there who do data mine and get information just by getting it through a website or something. So having a VPN is a very useful thing. So I'm going to show you the video of what NordVPN is all about.
How does it work? All about it in this video. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It's a tool that encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP address and virtual location. What's a VPN used for? A virtual private network significantly boosts your online privacy and security. Thanks to its encryption, third parties cannot spy on your online activity. Even your internet service provider cannot see what you do online. A VPN also allows you to overcome internet censorship. All your traffic is routed through a remote server, so you can access websites restricted in your country. Here are 5 cases when you definitely need a VPN. 1. You want to secure your online data. You need an extra layer of protection when you're online. Not all websites use HTTPS, a secure communication protocol where S stands for secure. If you're visiting a website without a HTTPS, the data you send or receive can be stolen by cybercriminals or other third parties. Unsecure apps also leak your data, but how do you know if the app you're using is secure? You don't. Apps are like black boxes, and it's anyone's guess if they follow the best cybersecurity practices.
Now, I'll stop there. The Google Play Store has gotten better over the years, but there are times where they do have people publishing unrestricted apps, which can be detrimental to your device's security. Now, this is one of the reasons why I do use a VPN, because it protects your information. There are other services out there that could cost X amount of money, but NordVPN is one of the most versatile and safest ones to use. In a way, this is a kind of an unaffiliated sponsorship that I have through VPN, so I'll be posting information in the link, and this is why I'm going in depth in a VPN. I have wanted to preach what a VPN service can do for the average individual, and do not get me wrong with my views on a VPN. They are super helpful, and they also secure your information. Now, there's a lot of gray areas, a lot of speculation in regards to what a VPN can and cannot bring to the table, but I do find it very helpful in regards to securing your devices. And there are many kinds of services out there that do offer VPNs. Nord is one of the ones that I pretty well have stood by for a while, and I've researched a fair bit, right down to a streaming router VPN, essentially. Because once I had gotten the Starlink service, after applying on the beta, having to go into YouTube Kids on, what was it, a Fire Tab, I think it was 7 or 8 or something like that, and I basically had to rework all the information so that I could install the Google Play Store, and this is when I was with ExploreNet. Now, ExploreNet, it's an okay service when it works correctly on the right day, but the issue is it has to be a direct line of sight to the cellular towers for the panels to bounce back the information, and I have on occasion went into that information and locked onto specific panels, because what happens is it's like a this is the array that goes to it, and it, goes to that specific panel. But some of the newer panels, they do a 360. So even though it's going to this panel in that direction, there's this panel in this direction, it's feeding that information off of the panel that's behind it, essentially. Therefore, giving it an interfered or SSI value of probably 120 or maybe 130, which is very bad in terms of connectivity with the wireless, essentially a point-to-point LTE network. There's a lot of debate and topic in that regards for another day. But long story short, a VPN, what it does is also with the Starlink service, as well with the ExploreNet service I had found, just through personal research, is it stabilizes the connection. Now, the difference between what I found with ExploreNet versus Starlink is that there's no real true open NAT or CG NAT. It's all based on how the protocols are done. So, and they cannot open up the IPv4, which sucks. So, ergo, a VPN. A VPN, what it does, if there's packets of information, yes, both deliveries are completely different. However, if ExploreNet was doing the satellite service, the difference is the signal that bounces back from the satellite to the dish unit, and just the delivery on how the system is overall. Because with the Starlink system, I love it. However, I cannot go without a VPN using it because of the limitations and the protocols that hold it back from being able to game efficiently or stream effectively in some regards. Some streaming works perfectly on a dime. Other streaming services other streaming services really do hinder the aesthetic and proper means on watching and viewing content correctly. I do not stress enough of how good a VPN, not only can it secure your service, but it stabilizes it at the same time. And that's why if you had used a traditional VPN and you go to a basic interface where you pick a specific server for a specific meaning, I got goose to move me heed. No, long story short, what I find is this VPN specifically, it really does help the stability of the connection overall. So I'll resume the video, and I apologize.
So VPN encrypts all your internet traffic. You don't need to worry about unsecure websites or apps. That extra layer of encryption makes sure your online data is safe.
And that's where I want in
2.
terms of...
You want to access blocked websites. If you want to use YouTube in China, VPN is the answer. It changes your IP address and redirects your internet traffic through a remote server, letting you browse under the cover of its IP and access.
Now, I will touch on this, as I said on this Starlink information. What had happened is the global IP had registered my Ontario address from where I live in the Midhurst area. It was showing up as a Montreal IP. Now, I don't know where the ground stations for Starlink are specifically in Canada. I know there was a experimental one in Nova Scotia, St. John's or something like that. I could be wrong. I could be incorrect at this point of the video. But what had happened was I would go to try to put kids' YouTube on my kids' then tablets. Now they're upgraded to iPads. But I would also try to use my phone or my wife's iPad. And what would happen is, sorry, this app is restricted. or whatever the message was. Essentially what it was saying is you can't use this app because it's geo-locked or geo-restricted, which is a great hindrance on the Starlink service to some degree. You can still do many things on Starlink, however, this is why I needed the VPN. Now, they've kind of fixed and fine-tuned that issue, which I greatly do appreciate and love, but still having a VPN for irregardless what ISP you have will aid and assist your internet browsing habits astronomically. Alright, I'll continue the video.
Access blocked websites. Similarly, VPN lets you stay at home, at least virtually, even when you're traveling. You won't miss your favorite content when you're abroad. 3. You often use unsecure connections. Public Wi-Fi is inherently unsecure. If you spend a lot of time on public hotspots, in hotels, airports, or coffee shops, a VPN protection is a must.
Now, I was touching back on the Starlink to this, so if you go to a college Wi-Fi or Tim Hortons or even a McDonald's Wi-Fi and you find that the connection is less than secure, what a VPN connection can do in this regards as well, not only secure your connection, as well strengthen the ability of improving your bandwidth quality. Now, if you, to a degree, understand some streaming applications where you go to a specific file or TV show or movie and it picks apart, this one in HD or 720 or 1080, whatever the video value is, and some of them will show the bit speeds very specifically, if it's 1.2 megabytes or right down to just hypothetically 300 kilobytes a second, and it could show you the file sizes as well the millisecond. Now, imagine that application or idea in relation to having to go onto a specific server in an unsecure connection. Now, in this way, I find, and the best explanation I can give you is, not only is it ideal to have it not only to secure the connection, but it also help improve the quality of the connection for the bandwidth, because in a way, if you may understand the difference between Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6 or Wi-Fi 6E, what a VPN can do to a slight percentage difference is improve the quality of your bandwidth. That's simply what I find the Nord VPN at least do, and I've tested at least 7 of them, I believe, over the course of a period of a few months. And the research is pretty well warranted itself that I find NordVPN one of the better ones for an easy interface, etc. Alright, so I'll go back to the video.
Without it, a cybercriminal can use many methods to spy on your internet traffic, steal your data, or inject malware into your device. When on public Wi-Fi, VPN must always be on. 4. You want to avoid unlawful government surveillance. Governments usually have direct or indirect access to internet service providers operating in their jurisdiction. It varies from country to country, but your government may use this access to actively track your online activity. Thanks to all kinds of intergovernmental agreements, they may also share this information with other countries. A VPN hides your online activity from all third parties, including your internet service provider and government. 5. You use file sharing services. Peer-to-peer services have many legal and valid uses. Distributing open source software or public domain videos, sharing large amounts of internal information in an organization, or even pushing service updates. And yet, internet service providers try to discourage their users from peer-to-peer services by setting bandwidth limits. Use a VPN. With it, your ISP can't see your traffic and limit your peer-to-peer sharing. Who can use VPN services? Short answer, everyone. A freelancer trying not to spill her latte on her laptop, a gamer avoiding bandwidth throttling, a traveler enjoying his favorite content on the move. A VPN is like a Swiss Army knife. You can use it depending on your needs. Whether you're a student overcoming unreasonable Wi-Fi restrictions at your school, or a business owner securing sensitive work data. P.S. When working remotely, always use a VPN. Business data is too sensitive to be sent and received without an extra layer of security. Or maybe you're a journalist working under an autocratic regime. Without VPN protection, your freedom or even life could be in jeopardy. The idea behind a VPN is truly simple. Everyone deserves a secure and unrestricted internet. By encrypting your traffic and hiding your IP, a VPN makes it a reality. What is an IP address? IP, or Internet Protocol Address, is a string of numbers that identifies your device when you connect to the internet. Without it, devices and servers couldn't exchange information. All your devices have a local IP address. When they connect to the internet, your router assigns them a public IP. Every website you visit can see this public IP and your physical location. What's more, online spies can look up online activity associated with a particular IP address. Your IP, location, and online activity are all important data points for someone who's spying on you and trying to make a detailed profile. When you use a VPN, you first...
As I said, there are people out there who do have the means to access the information that you do have to be able to provide, and it's really beyond anyone's control that they can steal your information. Now, when you download specific applications, and one of the latest things is NFT, and what NFT is specifically, it's a way to monetize programming processes that access in the background, and NFTs cryptocurrency, essentially. So there are newer games out there that, you know, say, oh, well, if you play this game, NFT, blah, 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 you can, you know, utilize part of this. And I have a lot of people on Discord always messaging me. Always messaging me about that. And it gets tiring after a while. But NFT is one of the things that you will see progressing further in applications. So whether you're an Android user or iOS user or Windows, Linux, whatever, etc., you will find that some applications may seem malicious in nature, may eat up more bandwidth, more CPU, GPU, etc., RAM usage in your device. And what they do is sometimes if they require background use, they will continually run in the background and data mine information off of your device. So having a VPN in this regards will help circumvent that, as well having other applications out there, which I am in the middle of researching the correct one. One I currently do have at the moment is AVG, and that antivirus software has been around for as long as I remember. There was once upon a time where I did dabble in using Zone Alarm. Disclaimer warning, I am not too, well, me not say that there's an agreement or anything, but Zone Alarm is, that is essentially a application I would advise you put in, because in a way, again, I am not going to badmouth any company for the use or proper programming of their device, application, etc., but Norton Antivirus is another name I will strongly advise not to use, because it's like you're playing Russian roulette, or you're playing Russian roulette with the lottery, and you're like 2 to 1. It'll either do this to your computer or it'll do that to your computer. And removing the software off of your computer, yikes. By mistake, I installed Zone Alarm, and I remembered it being a very essential and useful firewall application. And I made the mistake of installing it on my computer, thinking that it would, you know, continue where it's left on, and it would have improved on the protocols and the security of your device, but no. I went crap. It took me about a good couple of days to undo that installation. I couldn't restore it to a previous install point. I basically had to find like various different ways and restoring it into safety mode and doing this and doing that and installing application for removal of zone alarms specifically off my computer onto my cell phone, and then Bluetooth transfer from my cell phone to my computer. So like I say, when you install specific applications, do the research before you do install them. Like, having a VPN is great. What is a VPN that you're installing? That is a concern. No, like, well, it's like, you know, the good old meme of, well, it's a hole, right? No! It's a hole. It could get cut off if you put it in the damn hole. That's the idea. So you want to make sure that you have protection going into that hole, or you could have all these issues that fall in a domino effect. Okay, you're going doing this, but you know what? Poof. Click, 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 click. You're gone. You're done. Like, the average individual may not have my mindset and knowledge as to how to undo a couple issues, and I'm always game to providing the best free canonical advice that I can provide in regards to anything. And there's one thing that I cannot do is replicate what problem that happened and fix it, because I refuse to put my computer in harm's way. And the only other advice I have in regards to that is, if the computer is far gone and done, go to a reliable I'm gonna say electronics expert. It be Geek Squad, just for example, or a well-reputable computer guy or electronics guy in your area, because they will be able to figure out what the issue is and just go from point A to point B. And also they will have a device if necessary. If it is not a hardware fault, they will be able to extrapolate the hard drive and then basically just plug into a HD dock, plug that device into an HD dock, or if it's M2 or M2.8 SSD, they could just easily put it into an external docking port for that and just plug it in, and oh yeah, this is what the problem is. So basically, sometimes doing that is also as useful as, you know, replicating the issue if you have another device laying around it and you have the means to do so. But like I said, it's what you have, what you know, and how to do it. And sometimes Googling the information, going on YouTube, trying to see if there is something in reference to what your current predicament is, will help circumvent any future issues. And believe me, I've been doing this since '95. Alright, back to the video.
First, connect to a remote VPN server, making it seem like you're browsing from another place with a different IP address. Your online activity cannot be traced back to you through your IP. How does a VPN work? When you connect to a VPN, it creates an encrypted tunnel that secures data traveling between you and the VPN server. To secure each data packet, a VPN wraps it in an outer packet, which is then encrypted through encapsulation. Your data stays safe during transfer. When it arrives at the server, the outer packet is decrypted. A VPN protocol is the key to VPN technology. It's a set of encryption standards used to create a secure connection between two devices. VPN providers commonly support a couple of such protocols. OpenVPN, the most popular of them, is used by the majority of VPN providers in the world. It's highly configurable and offers a nice balance between speed and security, as you can use it on both TCP and UDP ports. Internet Key Exchange version 2 is a tunneling protocol, usually paired with IPsec for encryption. It adapts well to network changes, making it an excellent choice for phone users who often switch between Wi-Fi and mobile connection. Nord VPN has also implemented a next-generation VPN tunneling solution. That's Nord Links, built around WireGuard, the fastest tunneling protocol out there. WireGuard is insanely fast and lean. It's made just of 4,000 lines of code. Less code means less space for errors. It's easy to deploy, audit, and debug. Nord Links provides higher speed and security, and works like a charm. How to set up Nord VPN? It's easier than you think. Once you download
Install that,
NordVPN
sign
and
in,
get the subscription,
two-form authentication.
just open the app,
Done.
be it on PC, Mac, or
Two-form
smartphone.
authentication.
Log in.
I would
Use the
advise
same
you
credentials you
on
use to sign up.
everything.
Click to connect. You can choose the Quick Connect button, which automatically selects the most
2FA
suitable server, or pick a location from the map. NordVPN adheres to a strict
Even though
no
you
logs
have a
policy.
password and
Your online activity is your business.
such as Google,
NordVPN.
it can
Online
flag,
security starts with a click.
such as Google, it may be able to flag specifically if the passwords are compromised. So if you have your Google set up on multiple websites that you use, and it can tell you very specifically if a whole bunch of passwords have been compromised. And even though the password may be compromised on that website, and if there is a means on that website that you can use 2FA, two-form authentication, in regards to circumvent further damage done on that account specifically, I would advise to do it. There is various ways you can get it set up through SMS or a application token. Back in the day, Battle.net sent a nifty keychain that was a security key, quite literally, and it was digitized, and it gave you a code. So every time you were to log into a application, you would have to hit the thing to get that code to log in on the portion of your information so you could be able to play the game or just go on the website in general. Now, there are applications out there that are utilized that bring it all together, and one of which I use quite prominently is Authy, A-U-T-H-Y, and as well there's Authenticator from Google, which is another one, but Authy is essentially one of the ones I do use and go by. Now, in terms of the whole shebang of the VPN, that's pretty well the rest of it. And some of the information that I do hope I have provided is helpful and useful for the average individual. Now, there are many people like Linus Tech Tips. I love his channel. I've been watching it ever since basically from the beginning, and in a way I am a budding individual who has the same aspirations as to what he had become to, which is fine. I mean, I'm not a smart individual by any means when it comes to technology. Like, sometimes I jump without reading, and other times it's just common sense to me where I know how to do things in a very specific fashion, where I just do. I do and done and gone, basically. Because when it comes to the Terra Cool Master, pretty sure if I said that correctly, I have a 4-bay F420, I think it is, or 240, something like that. So it's basically a 4-bay essentially a private server, and what I have the intention on using it for is Plex. It's like a whole idea. I mean, one day I will do a video of the overall network scheming, setup, etc., and to explain, from point A to point B to point Z to point blah, 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 whatever it is, how my network runs. But long story short, essentially, the VPN is essential because it secures your network, well, your connection on that device, to get a DP, or device protocol network. So basically, there are devices out there that offer a means to set up a device VPN, basically. But some of the issues in that regards is like the stream locator, I think is what I had got a while ago. Is that basically is a streaming VPN router. And you don't need to necessarily have a device to log on to that router for it to read the protocols. You can individualize, like say for example YouTube or Netflix, for that device connected on your network to read that information and play it on, say, Canada, States, UK, whatever location you have that protocol set for. And there are devices out there that you have to physically plug an Ethernet cable into your laptop or a plug-and-play ready Ethernet port and set it up through an IP localization that way. That one's a pain in the butt, but that's, trust me, it gets complicated from there. And to set up a decentralized protocol network, I think is what it's called. I could be wrong 100%, but basically it's a device that puts the VPN software onto it. And I haven't come across one where you could log into it remotely wirelessly and, put that information off of that one device and just save that information, or with an application itself. Unfortunately, those ones you have to get an Ethernet cable, because it's one Ethernet in and one Ethernet out, and you got the device in between, and that's how it splits the information. So something like that may be eventually helpful on a network to bypass, restrictions, ports that are restricted, CG NAT or NAT that is restricted, or IPv4 or IPv6 protocols that are restricted. That's why sometimes using a VPN unrestricts specific things. Not only that, but it could also, as you've seen in the video previously, it speeds up your service so that you don't get bandwidth limitations. And that's what a lot of people have the misconceptions of a VPN. And trust me, a VPN is one of the most damn useful things you'll ever purchase, because it will speed up your connection. And there are some companies out there that have the traditional bandwidth lock on a service that you do have. So unfortunately, some people still suffer from the 100 to 200 gigabytes of bandwidth allocation for your internet provider, or maybe even much less. Even on a cellular company, mine only goes to 10. After that, it's unlimited, but it goes to 500 kilobytes a second, which is a ouch. I mean, there will be a day where everything will truthfully be unlimited, but what it comes down to is storage space and mainframe size and everything, and whether the ability of those mainframes to keep up with that information. It's just crazy with how many people are using devices these days. Like, I have on total, I think around 20, or on average about 15 to 20 devices on my network simultaneously, and that's crazy. But anyway, I've rambled on enough for half an hour, and if you struggled this much to watch the entire video, a thumbs up to you. So always show me a like, comment. I will respond to the best of my ability as well. Please subscribe if you had enjoyed this video and the information I provided, and have yourself a good day, and keep spanking on, man, or lady, or alien, or whoever you may be. Peace out, people.